already been talking. We've got 2 region directors and the committee chair. And if you don't, I guess the region directors probably should know Katie if they don't. But she's the executive chief cook, bottle washer, and editor for ITEA.
Everything nobody else wants to do. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But you guys got to remember, I'm brand new to this position, so I'm still learning everything.
Oh, that's
Well,
great.
I feel bad because when I work on the ballot, so like I feel like I already know you, because
Yep.
I put it all together. I read all your background stuff. I see your pictures. So it's like I always have an advantage for the people that have been on the ballot. So, but it's nice to like actually meet you.
Don, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. Teach in Central Illinois last 23 years, career and technical education. I'm the division head for our department. But more importantly than that, I run our state organization for tech ed, and I'm the president of that. And I've been with ITEA for many, many years. All the way back in 1999, I wrote for Engineering by Design. And then
wow.
I became a trainer for Engineering by Design. And so I've been around for a long time. And then Troy and Steve decided to put me on the ballot for region. Sure. And
They're
so,
good that way.
Yeah. So now I'm here.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you doing it.
Yeah. And Kelly actually reached out and asked us to make a campaign to try to find out who all our champions are. And I successfully can tell you that I found a person in every state.
No way.
Yep.
You're going to get a prize for that. I'm serious. You're getting a prize. I don't know what it is yet, but there's a prize coming your way.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Region 2 was pretty easy, and all those states were willing to talk to me, and I was able to get in contact with most of them all. Yeah.
Wow, I am super impressed. Andy, you might be muted.
Who did you talk to in Kentucky?
So I have to look, but I don't know.
Would it have been Mark Harrell?
Well, I'm sorry. I would have to look at my notes. I
Okay,
don't
well, that's
know,
fine.
but
I think he's listed.
Because right now our state organization is practically 2 people, my boss and me. So
yeah,
keep that in mind.
We're in process this summer of trying to revive the organization. So it fell apart when I left and went to Virginia to work. Because I'm listed as the executive director of the association.
Good to know.
Yes. So John, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm in Utah. I was actually Region 4 director a few years ago, and just the wrong place, wrong time, I guess. They got me again. But I've been in education for 18 years now. So taught grades 7 through 12 and everything from woodworking to welding to civil engineering, aerospace engineering, electronics, the whole gamut. Come from family of teachers. My dad's a school teacher. He is just finishing his 51st year of teaching.
Wow.
And he plans to go back next year again. So
that's great.
Yeah. I won't go that long, but I'll learn from his mistake.
He may not consider it a mistake. My feet wouldn't make it. I had bad feet and couldn't stand on my feet any longer.
He's in a small school in South Dakota and small class sizes, so he likes it.
Yeah. Well, I retired from the classroom in 2010. Middle school, high school teacher. Started in industrial arts, and about a third of the way through my career, we made the switch to technology education. And then before I got out, technology and engineering education. So it's been a roller coaster ride, but it's been one I've loved. I first John, you may know Kim Durfee. I don't know if you do or not. He was the one that
I
got,
remember him.
yeah. He's the one that got me involved in ITEA. He actually was my trainer when we purchased Creative Learning Labs. Our district did, and he was our trainer. So, and I've known him ever since. But anyway, in 2012, I went to Virginia as the state advisor for TSA. I did that for almost 6 years until grandchildren drew me back home, almost back home. My wife had retired from the University of Kentucky and gone to the University of Tennessee. So I went to live with her, but I was only a couple hours from the grandkids instead of 8 hours. And then she got recruited back to UK. In 2019, we moved back here just before COVID hit. I was region director and I was past president of ITEA before the name change. But anyway, and just happened one time to ask Steve if, I guess it was when Jared Bidding was president-elect, because I knew that president-elect was responsible for filling the committees. And I said, Jared must be through with his committees. And I made that mistake of saying that to Steve. And about 30 minutes later, Steve walked up, slapped me on the back and said, have I got a job for you? Me and my big mouth. So
He's good that way.
yep. So I've been doing this since.
Thank you, Andy.
Well, I kind of enjoy it. And so that's who we are. And then there's 2 other region directors, and then we have 2 other classroom teachers that are on the committee. And I thought one was going to be here. The other one is a baseball coach. So I feel for him because I did that. I was a baseball coach, TSA advisor. They all happen at the same time, and ITEA conference in the spring as well. So those were some busy years when I did that. But I also told them that we would record this and send out the link. So the
Hold on.
Do what?
I gotta say, I'm a wrestling coach, and wrestling season never ends.
Yeah, well, in high school sports anymore, there's no sport that isn't 12 months out of the year.
That is 100% correct. We're still wrestling right now.
Oh, wow. All right. So if you looked at the agenda that I sent you, the next thing we talk about the purpose and the role of the committee. So the election committee is tasked with finding 3 persons to run for 3 positions each year, and there's a rotating position so that there's an equal number of classroom teachers, supervisor administrators, and teacher educators. And so it rotates from year to year what we're tasked with. This current year, we are looking for supervisor administrators for president-elect, and they can come from anywhere in the membership, any region. The other 2 positions are always on a rotating. The president-elect position is a 3-year position because once they're installed, they serve 1 year as president-elect. The 2nd year is president, and the 3rd year is past president. And those 3 people and executive director form the executive committee of the board of directors, and they have considerably more responsibility in their positions. They meet in June to work on the budget, and quite often meet before board meetings a day early to go over agendas and go over any special things that might be happening. So that job is a little bit more involved than are the region directors, but all are important. So this year we're looking for the administrator supervisor position for president-elect, and that would be for the fall ballot that will be late September, something like. Is that right, Katie?
It goes out. What happens first is we try to get we do introduce the candidates in the September issue of TET, and that goes to layout in the beginning, like the middle of July. So that's the first, that's like the bar we have to hit every year. Is everything has to be, all the bio information has to have been submitted, the headshots, everything by mid-July so that it can be in TET. But then the ballot itself is released either the last day of September, or the first day of October, and then voting continues until the end of October.
Yes, all right. So this year's rotation, we're looking for a teacher educator in region, or not a teacher, but teacher educators in region 4. Go ahead, Don.
Okay, so
I said region 4, but it should be region 1.
oh, okay, so President-elect. Sorry, it's not very good.
Understand?
So what's teacher educator? You just a teacher?
A teacher educator is a university professional that's involved with preparing pre-service education for those that are going to teach technology and engineering education.
Okay, perfect. And they have to come out of region.
Region 1 this year. Teacher
Is a
educator.
teacher educator? Okay.
Region 1. And then region 3 is a classroom. I'm sorry. I'm looking at region 3 is classroom teacher.
Hey, one question really quick. Do we have a list of universities that offer teacher prep programs for tech ed?
Katie, there used to be on the website.
Yeah, I mean, we have institutional members, but that's not a complete list of everyone who offers programs.
Okay.
Sometimes your state reps, John, within your region can help you with that.
Yeah, just out here in the West, there's not very many teacher prep programs left. So I was curious if we knew.
Well, there's not
the
many
country
left
there were.
Yeah,
Yep.
true.
That's the case everywhere almost. We have four in Kentucky that probably, is that my back feed?
This is a rough meeting, Andy. What the heck?
I don't know. Somebody's got some feedback.
So I'm region 2, so no one from region 2 would apply in this cycle, correct?
Unless they were a supervisor that would want to run for a supervisor administrator that would want to run for president-elect.
Oh yeah, good point.
And it would be great.
I would. So I have a college interested.
Okay. Can you send me that person's name and an email contact?
I can, but let me just see if he's on the list.
Oh, let's surprise him.
So it's Chris Merrill from ISU.
Chris Merrill?
Oh,
yes.
I love Chris Merrill.
I served on the board with Chris Merrill. So yes.
So he told me, here's what happened. He had a big grant proposal and he didn't run the last election when I ran because he has this, outstanding job grants, whatever. He had a lot on his plate. Well, the grant didn't come through. So then he told me, well, heck, I wish I would have ran.
Well, it's not too late because actually I sent him a nomination letter back in the spring before conference, and that's what he told me. He was waiting to find out about this grant. So
Wait a minute, he's region 2.
But for president,
he's not a supervisor administrator.
That's right.
Yeah, he's got to wait now, unfortunately.
Well, it was last year for.
Yeah. We would love to have Chris, but he unfortunately doesn't fit the criteria this year.
Yes.
Right. That was my question.
Yeah. But I would for sure, next time it's president is teacher educator, somebody better mentally write down Chris Merrill's name because he would be amazing.
Yeah. Yes, he would.
Well, or we should find him a spot now because he's willing and ready.
Yeah, but to keep
it's the bylaws.
Yeah, it's the bylaws that we have, and to keep the balance on the board between the 3 categories so that it's fairly even. It's
Oh,
it's
but we can
across-
find, we can absolutely find other ways to get him engaged.
and Chris wouldn't, if he can, he would always say yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
Just a little background. It's always me, Troy, and Chris. We're a small little triangle that work very, very close together. So if you ever, and I know Troy's very, very active.
Oh, yeah.
And
You guys are
and
the dream
Steve
team.
was till he changed positions.
well, but that's because of our state leadership. So
Yes.
yes.
I've had discussions with him on that, so I do understand what's going on there.
Right.
So,
And Steve is still very active in the state. So good.
so John, right now we have one confirmed candidate in Region 3 for Region 3 director on the ballot this year, and she's from Minnesota. She's a classroom teacher. And actually, Dr. Hintage's, if I pronounced his name right,
Oh, Chuck.
yeah, I contacted him and he gave me several names and tell me her name. And I can't get it off the top of my head, Katie.
Oh, the
Hannah
first-
Reinsdorf.
Hannah, yeah.
Um,
Reinsdorf.
so she was the one out of the group that he gave me that accepted. I have a tentative person from Texas, but I think he's waiting on to see if he gets a promotion, I think, to administration.
Yeah.
So,
But he would be great.
and he would be a good one. And so that might be two, but our goal is always to try to have 4 candidates in each position. That doesn't happen too often, but we try. And when I first took this over, and I know even when I ran, the goal too was always to try to have the ballot completed before we got to conference, and
Yeah.
that doesn't happen too often either.
It never
So-
happens anymore.
No, it's probably been a long time. I
Yeah.
can remember when I went to run for president by conference, the actual chairman of the committee at that time came up and said, "I'm sorry, but we can't fill the ballot yet because you're the only candidate we have. So we're going to hold out until we can find somebody." And I'm so shucks. Why don't we just do it now and we don't run unopposed? But anyway,
Right, so what do you need us to do? Like, what can we do?
Region 3 specifically, John, I need some names of classroom teachers that are members that might be willing. And the way to find that out is through your communication with the state associations. If they have somebody active that they think would be, and I need names.
How about if we pull a report from, ITEA membership in Region 3?
Well,
Because I'm in Region 4.
Yeah.
Region 4. Okay, I'm sorry. I need Region 3 then, not John. I'm sorry, John.
Yeah, never mind.
We need Chuck Hindages is the one, and when I contacted him, he gave me names, and they were all from Minnesota, which is where his university is. But
The question is, so here's my thing. Like, if we ran a report of classroom teachers in Region 3, who could we get to look at that list and say, I can identify, 5 potential candidates on this list?
we really, I don't know.
Is Wisconsin Region 3?
3, which is like Minnesota down to
Texas.
So Wisconsin's in that.
Yes.
All right, so I'm really good friends with the Wisconsin Tech Ed Association executive director,
Mm-hmm.
and they have 600 members.
Yeah, if you could contact him
That would
and
be great.
ask him if they know of somebody that might be a good candidate, and then I get a name and I send a letter of nomination. I have a formal letter, so sometimes when a person is invited to run, their principal or administrator, whoever their supervisor is, sometimes wants something formal. So I have a formal letter that I use, and I can send y'all a copy of it. I'll do that tonight after we get off of this, so you can see what it looks like. That I send out to everybody. I just change the name, change the position they're running for, and and that way they can use that if they need to. So I have one, potential two in Region 3. Right now in Region 1, we have one person, David White from Florida A&M University. I just received a potential yes from Michelle DeShino at Central Connecticut State University. I think it's state.
Connecticut State University, yeah.
And then I sent a letter a couple days ago also to Cameron Denson at North Carolina State. And so I have not heard back from him. But so in Region 1, and that's George Bishop, and he's not on tonight. I need some suggestions if anybody knows. Katie, the one thing about, I always get the membership, and I have the Excel spreadsheet tabbed out by region, but it doesn't tell their position, and it doesn't say whether they're a classroom teacher. Some of them I know and some of them I don't. So sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I'm not sure that everyone puts that in when they join. That's the problem.
Yeah, and sometimes universities especially, sometimes I can tell by the email, but then some of them put their personal email in. We lost.
We did, but it was nice to meet him.
He may come back. He was having trouble with his internet. I think he had his phone in his car.
Oh, Lord, help me.
When he was first on.
So Andy, like right now you've got how many, you have 0 people like completely committed for president-elect, right? Right?
I have 3 that have committed to me verbally.
And I know who those 3 are, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And then probably you just told us David White and Michelle has tentatively agreed. And then Region 3, we've got Hannah and potentially Naveen. Is there anyone else? So like what's be focusing
right now,
on?
that's all I have. So I need some names and suggestions. And then President-elect, the verbal commitments I have are from Scott Nichols in Maryland.
Yep.
Kim Bradshaw in Virginia.
Yep.
And Kim Forbes in North Carolina.
Yep. That's what I have.
And other than Kim, I have circled back around to Scott and Kim Bradshaw, and they both told me they were working on their Word document.
Okay,
and
good.
I'm hoping to get it in the next week or two. So
Gotcha.
Though up until I sent the letters to Michelle and to Cameron, I had a May 31st deadline on the letter. When I sent Michelle and Cameron a letter, I changed the deadline to June 15th. I don't want to squeeze them too much, but I also know we need to get it done as quick as we can. So that's how that happens. So that kind of covers the progress and actions to date. So what we need, if we had 3 candidates for president-elect, that's pretty good.
That's
The
pretty
only
good.
problem is all 3 of them are from Region 1. So if we could find somebody in one of the other 3 regions that's a supervisor administrator that would be interested or willing, it would be great to have a 4th and great to have somebody from another part of the country.
So what if we shared like the list that you have that has all of the like regions tabbed out? Can you share that with
I have yes, if I can. I have the one that runs through this election, and then Kelly sent me one, but it's kind of rough for the going forward.
Because like I can ask Joe to do it however you want to do it. I can get it as close to what you want as possible. And then if everyone on the committee just looks at names of, you know, supervisor administrators that they happen to know are, you know, excellent, that could provide some more names.
Yes. Trying to, my brain went blank.
Andy.
What I was looking for. I'm here.
So don't do it.
That happens.
Tell me about it.
Let's see, 21, my 20. Mistake, huh? All right, now I was just, it's the other, I'm sorry, it's on my other computer. I can send it to you tonight with the list of who we have already and what we need. That would be great. I will do that to the whole committee. And I will send you also an example of the letter that I send. And then, but what I would say, preferably since the way it's been going, of course, up for the most time, when I first took this job, just about everybody on the committee jumped off to run for office and left me and Liz Gallo as the only members. And now Liz doesn't teach anymore, so she dropped off the committee. And so for the last 3 years, it's basically been me.
It has
And
been.
And then when it got to June, it was me and Steve, and I suspect Katie.
Yeah, Katie was pulling some strings.
So, so anyway.
Yeah, I want to, that's not fair, right? So I want to get this, like, Kelly is super all about the importance of committees and supporting committees.
Yes.
And we have not been doing that, right? We just really have not been doing that.
Well,
So
I think, and I understand the reason and so forth, the financial. When I first went on the board, and both times, when I became a region director, they flew us all in and
remember that?
for a weekend, and they trained us. And I mean, it was a good training. And when I left there, I knew as a region director what I was supposed to do. And then because of, my location, and at Christmas time, I was always in Virginia for a while. When I got elected to president-elect, one of the days I was visiting my parents, I just drove up and met with Kendall all day. And he kind of basically trained me pretty well in what I needed to do. But then a couple years after I got off the board, then the finances kind of went to the point where we started doing visual, just
Virtual,
virtual, and Kendall did one-on-one, I think, over the phone as I spoke to some of them. So I think that kind of hurt. And I think, and
so
Deb really worked hard in filling the committee handbook. And I know Jared did, but in between and before Jared, several people just didn't do that. So I appreciate having a committee now.
Yeah. So what I want to say is that, like, we've never had an association, or our executive director has never been like an association professional, if you know what I'm saying. It's always been someone from within the field. And that's a great thing because everyone brings different, skill sets. Kendall certainly had his skill set. Steve, I mean, I would walk through fire for that man, honestly. Like, I just have so much respect for him. But Kelly's coming in to clean up house, to clean house. Me too. I mean, I work with her every day, and she gets the whole association model in terms of how important these committees are, how important the ARs are. Like, that's the stuff we have been working like night and day to shore up. So I think you're going to see a lot more support with the committees, and we're only as strong as the people who are working on our behalf, right?
Yes.
So we have to support those people. And she's like, I swear to God, I'm now on, like, I don't know how many committees, but I'm like taking minutes. Like right now I'm taking minutes of this meeting. I've never had to do that before. Like, but Kelly's like, how can you not have minutes from meetings like that you can refer back to? And I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I can tell you this, and I'm sure you were involved, but the biggest thing that helped as a committee chairman was electronic, I don't know the word I'm looking for, making the board reports electronic. It was much easier for me to do a more complete board report than to scribble out the way with my handwriting. So, but anyway.
So you're going to share the list of the membership list with all the committee members and identify exactly what it is that we're looking for, and have them all go through the list, because everyone's representing different areas and different demographics to, identify names. So that's awesome. So what else are we doing in terms of like next steps? That's the most important one, I think.
Well, I wanted to go ahead tonight and look at our next cycle. So then December, right after Thanksgiving, typically that's about the time that the candidates who win, and I think if Kelly's doing what everybody else has done, notify those that don't win.
Yes, correct.
Once the notifications are made, then we can start looking. I'm afraid that if we tried to look during the election, it might confuse things. So
I agree.
I always wait to try in December. And December is such a crazy month. Schools are getting ready to end. semester finals are coming and, Christmas holiday and all that kind of stuff. But we can be looking for names if we know what, so our cycle for the next ballot for next fall.
I'm ready.
President-elect is a classroom teacher. Region 2 is supervisor administrator. I already have one. So I'm way ahead of the game. And Region 4 is a classroom teacher.
Okay.
And Region 4 is a toughie, but classroom teacher is usually the easier of the three in Region 4.
That's a fact.
But as you move farther west, Region 4, now Region 4 does include our international members. And we had an international member run for president-elect last year.
We did.
And I almost had two, and one backed out. He backed out because he figured his language was going to be a barrier, and I didn't think so, but he said so. Anyway.
Okay.
So that's our cycle. So, I mean, we can already, even though we have some immediate needs, we can be thinking about.
I love that.
Come December 1st, that's what we need. And I can put that in the email I send tonight to everybody as well. If you don't think that would confuse things. No,
I mean, I think that everyone comes into contact with other people, whether it's at, regional conferences or national conferences, and if you've got that top of mind,
yeah,
you're always thinking about it. Oh, George. Who's
There's
George?
George Bishop.
Oh, George Bishop.
Come on in, George.
Yeah.
You're muted. There you are. Did you finally make it home from work?
Yeah, sorry guys.
That's all right. I'm recording this and I'm going to send out a link to everybody and some other information in an email. So we were almost finished.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the minutes that I've taken, Andy, if you want to use them at all.
That'll be great too. I appreciate it. When it's recorded, I think the chat is recording the verbal speech.
Yeah, the transcription. That's so cool.
Yeah. In our office at Department of Education, we're not allowed to use Zoom they fear some security thing. So we use Microsoft Teams, and it has advantages that Zoom doesn't have, and it has disadvantages, but I've gotten used to it. So
okay, so I think we're good, right? Unless you said the last thing on your agenda is questions. Does anybody have questions?
John or
why is George
George
so late?
questions?
I'm kidding. I'm joking, George.
I have
joking.
30 questions.
If I know George, he has a million questions.
Today, Andy, Joseph. I'm sorry, Joseph. That slowed me down. I got to be
Joseph.
honest with you.
I call him Joseph too.
Joseph.
That's my son's name.
Yep.
I was all messed up looking for Andy's invite.
I told you an email and gave you the email that it was going to come from.
If I read all of that, it would make a difference.
Andy, you can lean over the water,
Well,
You
there's a
cannot-
lot of.
Make me think.
It's a long story behind that, but anytime I do anything official, I use my official name, because in my freshman year of college, I lost my Pell Grant and I never got it back because of that.
That's horrible.
So, yeah, how professors or even classroom teachers, I did it. The first day of class, you call them, if you go by anything besides the name I have here, tell me. So, yeah, I told him Andy. And it just so happened that the feds did a spot check. And he told him, no, I don't have no Joseph Stevenson in class. And they jerked and once I got the letter from the government saying I was losing my grant, I went to the university. The professor of the university wrote letters. Didn't do a bit of good. And because of that, I never got another one.
Good
So
Lord.
I delivered pizzas and paid for college.
There you go. Hey, so Andy, I know we're going to wrap up in a second, but Kelly was like, here's what you need to do at the end of committee meetings. Like, when's the next time you want to get together?
We probably need to do this in early June or very late at the last week of this month or the first week of June, just to do a progress report with everybody, where we're at and
Your
see if we
notes.
still have any vacancies we need.
Okay.
So I'll send out another inquiry, probably next to last week, I guess the week after next, I'll send out an inquiry on some dates.
Cool.
And do remember, part of the reason for the times is we do have an international member on our committee. He's from Germany, and he's actually on holiday.
Yeah.
So that's why he couldn't join us tonight, but he's 6 hours ahead of us. So if he was going to be here tonight, it would be midnight for him.
Nice.
I did get to talk to him a bit at conference. He was at conference. Real neat guy, Martin Fistlake.
Yeah, I know of him.
He's a university. Yeah, he was a real neat guy. And so, but unless somebody has questions, Don keeps trying to get back in here. Are you there, Don?
He's muted.
Okay. Well, just to finish
All right.
up, I'm going to send out where we're at, who we have committed at the positions, what we need in each position. I'm going to send out a sample of the letter that I send when I get names. I'm going to send you a list of needs for each position so you can be looking. Our goal is we need to try to have them done by June the 15th. I'm also going to send you the next cycle so you can be thinking about people that we might approach starting December the 1st once this election is over. And I'm going to send you a membership. I'm going to send everybody a copy of the membership. And
Yep.
Kate, would it be, it's probably changed since the last one I got was just before conference.
Oh, yeah, we should send you.
I probably need an updated one.
Okay, got it.
If I could get that before I send all this out.
I'm
So
gonna
I'll
do
send that out in the next couple days. And I will send a link to this complete meeting that's being recorded. And then it may take a day before I have the link, because it takes a while for it to work up into a link where I can send out.
Beautiful. All right,
So-
Andy, you're the bomb.
Huh?
Thank you. I said you're the bomb. Thank you.
John or Don or George, you got any questions?
Oh, heck no, sir.
I know you
Nope, I'm good.
All right. Well,
Thank
it's
you.
been great talking to you.
All right,
and-
I'm gonna
and
send you
st-
this right now, Andy.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you bet. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you.
great evening.
I'm going to turn the recording off.
Oh, and there's gonna say stuff.
Then if George wants to stay or anybody else wants to stay and talk, we can talk.
I gotta go. My husband just made